Crypto prices are falling like crazy. And today, I want to talk about exactly why we think cryptos are falling right now and what we think is about to happen next. But first, why is Bitcoin falling? Why are our coins going down? Why did the crypto market see more than 800 million? Matter of fact, this number is way higher. More than $1.something billion worth of positions liquidated over the past 24 hours. What is causing this Bitcoin crash? Well, here's the main rundown. As it currently stands, the US is preparing $2,000 stimulus checks. It is also now estimated, because of Trump's newest words, that this will happen by around the middle of 2026, again confirmed by President Trump himself. We have Japan preparing a $110 billion stimulus package, China approving a $1.4 trillion stimulus package, the Fed officially ending quantitative tightening on December 1st, the US issuing about $1.9 trillion in treasuries per year, Canada restarting its quantitative easing program, global M2 money supply is at a record $137 trillion, and global rate cuts are at 320 plus over the last 24 months. In what world is another wave of inflation not on its way? And with that in the back of your head, and this right here, the odds of no rate cut at Fed's December 2025 meeting surged to 53%. This means the odds of no change in the Fed's policy are now above the odds of a 25 base point rate cut for the first time. Markets currently are worried about inflation. Put that in the back of your head and then now look back at the crypto market. Crypto liquidations are continuing. Another $1 billion worth of leveraged crypto positions have now been liquidated over the past 24 hours. This brings the total to about $5 billion over the past 7 days. And interestingly, liquidations spiked by 300 mil over the last just 4 hours alone. It almost seems like a large player was liquidated today, leading to the Bitcoin drop into the 91,000s at about 3 p.m. Eastern time. Wild times for the crypto market, to say the least. Wild couple of hours for my coins in my portfolio, to say the least. But here's exactly why I think crypto is dropping. Let me tell you. And now, if you agree, let me know down below. If you disagree, let me know down below. I want to hear your opinion, because I personally think some of the points I've just mentioned, and more importantly, this right here, every single stock basically over the past couple of days falling, breaking. The Dow again falls nearly 700 points as U.S. equity market declines accelerate. Or you look up the S&P 500 and say, hey, we're down about 2.1% over the past 5 days. Today, again, right, with Bitcoin putting up a pretty massive drop. Is that again supported by the S&P? Oh, yes, it is. Minus about 1% throughout the day. And remember, minus 1%, that's actually quite a lot for Bitcoin. You know, that's like maybe a little bit over $1,000. But for the S&P, that is absolutely wild numbers. To go down 2.5% in a few days, that's pretty big. Now, if we take a closer look at XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum, any of them work here really, you'll start to see something quite peculiar. One is that for the most part, the depths of the depths, if we're talking about prices, have not really been explored. Sure, for XRP, for example, we had this wonderful day on the 10th of October that took me out, as you guys know, where we actually bounced off of an interesting support here. But basically, all I was trying to say is when you take a look and you skip this one crazy candle, right? You can see, sure, the prices have broken down, but in reality, we have not actually made ourselves the lower of lows that I guess we cannot fall under. For XRP, that's around the $2 mark, where if we really get a weekly close below that level, things start to look really quite dire, really quite serious. For Ethereum, things are slightly different, but as it currently stands, if we can keep hovering around the $3,000 mark, I mean, all your yearly gains have basically been erased. Sure, that's definitely not too nice, but in the overarching spectrum, the trend would still look in place because we made ourselves an absolutely crazy dip back in April for ETH, right? So we're still double throughout the year. It's just at the start of the year, from that level, we are down tremendously. But that's also because we had a relatively high start. But if we're taking a look at the whole process, if you consider this dip, which was prices that we saw just a few months ago within this year, we're still up pretty crazy numbers. And for Bitcoin, we did actually break the most important levels that I wanted to see, but which I always do, as you can see here. If you start zooming out, Does it really matter that much? Sure, this looks kind of negative, but in the grand scheme of things, if we look back at the whole 2021 run, right, this made everybody believe the bull run was over because we went down 60%, only for us to, again, top it out with plus 155% from that dip later on. And the only question many are having right now is, are we not in this phase right here, right? The phase where the bear market starts, it goes down for a long while. And let me tell you one thing. Let me pull up a tweet here real quick. There's actually two. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏, Fundstrats, Bitmine, just bought another 54,000 Ethereum last week and currently holds about 3.5 million, which is about $11.11 billion. Based on the price when Bitmine's wallets received the ETH, its average cost is around $4,017. So at the current price of about 3K, Bitmine is actually at a massive paper loss of like $4 billion. Okay, $3.3 billion, something like that. And 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗏, the Bitcoin bull, let's call it, also just bought himself another 8,200 BTC for the fund, around $835 million worth. And here's the thing. These companies have no other choice. Sometimes I realize when we're taking a look at these charts, when we're taking a look at when to buy, when we're taking a look at our strategy over the longer term, there's one thing we often place too much emphasis on, and that is the speed, right? That's the haste we want to see in our return. Because essentially, if we're taking a look at this overarching chart, what becomes quite apparent is that as long as you're just patient enough, things really do work out nicely. And as I said before, with Ethereum and Bitcoin, you either believe they're going up for a very long time or to zero. You can choose either of them because sideways is not really too much of an option. Let's just say it's going up like crazy or to zero. If you think it's going to zero, sell everything, right? And you short the market like crazy because, I mean, if it's going to implode, you might as well be on that side. And if it's going up and up and up, all you got to do is just, in my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, strategically buy, continuing to keep that up, and it'll do pretty freaking well. Because guys like 𝗕𝗂𝗪𝗏 here and 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏, they're buying and they're putting billions upon billions upon billions of dollars on the line. Well, I mean, they don't have any other choice than to continue and keeping this up. They can't suddenly say like, oh, you know what? We're changing the strategy. We're not actually going to buy no more, because that defeats the whole purpose. The whole purpose was we are so confident in these assets, we'll keep buying more and more and more with whatever money we're able to find. And if that thesis ever changes, well, all hell will break loose. But I don't think it will, because that's their whole MO. Bull post until it's kind of like the manifestation type of charm, right? Where you think of something so much that you almost breathe it into existence. Regardless, two more stories I wanted to share. One, if you're shorting the market right now, for example, or you're still in some profit on your positions that you still can't comprehend, never think it's a stupid idea to just change your life. Even if your profits are significantly lower than what they were before, just realize that today, just in one day, $1 billion worth of positions got absolutely wrecked, of which some people, right, lost every single thing they've been fighting for over the past couple of months or years, like I had last month, right, where many months or many years of gains were basically wiped out in just a single day. And as it currently stands, I'm still kind of waiting a little bit for the market to show some more bullish signs before I go absolutely crazy again. I still think, though, that the highest point of the market has not been hit. I don't think the bear market is here, but I'm more and more afraid of stocks falling rather than cryptos. And cryptos kind of having that one-to-one correlation, still keeping the one correlation along. So dumping also with stocks, where logically the stocks here falling and potentially gold doing pretty well should also be a nice fire on the ass of Bitcoin and, well, most of our cryptos then to follow. It's not yet, though, and I don't want to speculate on both of those fields too much. But regardless, with Bitcoin falling here, some pretty crazy numbers. And just like I said, trillions basically being wiped out of this market. In just 5 weeks, $1.2 trillion has been wiped out. In just 4 to 5 weeks, Ethereum has fallen 40%. If your portfolio is not looking as great as it was a little while back, realize this, right? We have done some ass numbers. We have been doing bad. But one thing, again, becomes quite interesting. If we go back to this ETH chart, if you consider that if you'd bought the freaking dip all the way throughout, didn't really matter where you started, as long as you just did not become a wuss, you would have been so freaking happy, because Ethereum bounced from 1,340 all the way towards 5K, right? So it basically did a 3x from the bottom within a year, within a few months. Let's say it took half a year or so. But in reality, if you were able to take such a move, even if your average price is a lot higher at 2,500 maybe, because you kept buying from 4,000 on down, piece by piece, then still you would have doubled your money in just a few months after you were done collecting. Maybe you were just waiting. And that's also the position that I'm in, where I've got my bags loaded. I just keep on buying. Some will call me a lunatic. Some will call me crazy. Some will call me that I'm delusional for continuing to believe. But here's the kicker. I've been making these videos for so many freaking years in a row. There's 0% chance in my book that this is going to zero. Again, I'm not your advisor. This is just my thoughts on the matter. Do I love watching all my money just evaporate into thin air? No, I definitely don't. But then on the opposite side, I realized, well, there have been way worse days, just like last month. That was a really, really bad day. It's all part of the process, though. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy, and I still think this is the greatest wealth transfer opportunity of our lifetimes. But then again, I have to reiterate, nobody said it would be easy. If it was that easy, everybody would be rich, right? And so here's the kicker. I think if you're able to get through these hardest parts, you'll be rewarded greatly. But that's the thing. It is going to be hard. It is going to be demotivating. And in many times I should say, there will be points where you think of giving up. But throughout time, thus far for the crypto market, as long as you were able to fight it and not get wrecked along the way, you would have won. One kicker, one side note, one little thing I want to address here again, like I said before, is this is different when we're talking about just you selling some position just to not lose more. Because there's two sides. One is making tons of money. The other is just not losing a lot or just staying at where you're at. These are two separate goals. One, you're trying to make, you're trying to get. The other one is you're trying to stay stable or just not go down as much. Depending on your risk profile, depending on your age, depending on how much money you've already made, depending on how much percentage-wise you're up already this season, your priorities may change, right? If you turned $1 million into $6 million this season, and you just want to make sure it stays at like at least minimum 4, that's a completely different strategy than if you turned your $100 into 110 and you really just want to get to 4,000 because you're still nowhere yet, right? You still got to freaking grind it out. Regardless, this is like I said, if you're wondering why exactly this is happening, stock market fear, TradFi going down, and right now, if I'm being honest with you, the fear for traditional markets collapsing or having some major crash are so freaking high that it's affecting our crypto coins. And it's been a long time. This number does not showcase it, but it's been a long time since talking to so many of my fellow crypto people where most people say, probably we're entering a bear market or probably this is where things go down for a while, right? And well, most people were right. We did go down for a bit. We broke below 100 and then started going down tremendously. But here's again the kicker. I don't know anybody that didn't, but let's just say almost anybody, just to be safe, that I spoke to said that this is not the end of crypto, not the end of the gains. It just might be a temporary pause, a temporary little slap in the face. And many did not expect it to be this deep, but it turned out it was. Then again, though, think about it a few months in the future. If you just keep it up, if you just don't give up, probability-wise, you have a pretty good chance of making it better out of this, right? So that's just my thoughts. I'll be buying at least. I'll never give up. I'm holding my coins to the bitter motherfreaking end, or 10x. And I personally think the 10x is a way higher likelihood of happening, so I'm going for it. But yeah, if you're wondering, why are we going down? Why is the crypto market crashing? Why is Bitcoin going down? Why is XRP going down? Stock market fear. When people fear the stock market, when people fear TradFi, in some interesting way, it should be nice for our cryptocurrency coins, but the market is too immature. For some reason, when people's investments in TradFi go down, they also don't like this crypto stuff as much anymore. This will most likely, over the next few months or years, change, and that will most likely be that key moment where the crypto market just adds trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars in a very short amount of time. And we do not know what the catalyst, what the key there will be, but I don't think it's that far away. And all I can say is let's hope it's as soon as possible. On the opposite end, I'm thinking, man, you're getting yourself some cheap coins. For all of y'all that were not fully stacked, fire sale, huh? It's Black Friday coming up soon, so maybe I guess this is what they wanted you to have, a little Christmas break. You know, when I'm looking at this, though, right, it feels a lot more Christmassy to have everything in the red and everything be at a discount than if everything were to be up in green. Because if everything were to be up in green, I'd have to be watching it all day, make videos all day. Right now, this kind of shows me take some time off, go enjoy the freaking sun, even though it's kind of getting towards winter, because this is not going to make you happy. Maybe the sun will. But again, this will all change over the next couple of weeks or months. I personally think, so I'm still holding through. I'm still sticking through with it. And that's about it for this little crypto video. Make sure you press that like button if you enjoyed it. And hopefully, let me know down below if you're still here.